if they've already addressed corner with Carlton Davis, if he's the headliner, what's the next move? And do you anticipate a bigger move that we haven't even seen yet? Ticket Texter says it's quite obvious the next move is to go after Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa from the Chargers. A lot of people have connected those dots, John, because the Chargers can't keep everybody. They're going to have to cut or trade somebody. And Khalil Mack, a little long in the tooth, 33 last year on his deal, expensive. The Lions, one of the teams with cap space, could say, you know what? We'll help you out. We'll do you a favor, friend. We'll take Khalil Mack and we'll give you a draft pick and go on our merry way.
Yeah, and you have that small window right now where you have that draft or you have that salary cap space, and you can utilize it for a year or two before you have to pay all of those guys that you drafted, developing, and paying. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be up. You have to do Jared Goff. There is no world that I want to live in going into next year without a new contract for Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That needs to happen. So then you look and you say, okay, well, if you redo Jared Goff, you're going to actually clear up a little bit more cap space this year, and you can go out there and dip your toe into the good waters, the very warm and inviting waters of a Khalil Mack and pay him for a year, or a Jadeveon Clowney and pay him for a year. A guy that I think maybe is not as effective as Jadeveon Clowney, but you could probably get him for 2 years. That window that you have to pay a little bit of extra money. Eric Armstead, he's 31. He's 2 years younger than both. Actually the same age as Jadeveon Clowney, but he's 2 years younger than Khalil Mack. Now, Khalil Mack, is he better? Is he not? Like, you're kind of splitting hairs there, but you have the opportunity to go out there and improve that edge position.
Carlton Davis, corner one. Davenport, I don't think you feel like has secured the edge of that defensive line. He's an unproven guy. So whether it is a Khalil Mack or Armstead who can play inside, and I guess has played a little outside too, the D-line can still be and should still be addressed. I think you and I feel that way, and the offensive line still needs to be addressed. I mean, they have the cap space. Free agency rolls on. Ticket Texter says, what you can't do is add Calvin Ridley, John. J-Mo already got in trouble for gambling once. Doesn't need that influence around him, LOL. Another person says, obviously they're going to extend Carlton Davis after giving up a third, and in doing so, it will soften the 2024 burden.
Yeah, I mean, $14 million. Would you like to extend him 2 more years so he's here for 3? Lower that number just a little bit. You can lower it to about what you signed Davenport for. And so coming out of yesterday, you're looking at it going, well, maybe they only spent 12 of that $45 million. And again, that's a moving target as to what the cap number is. And please, let's not be limited by this cap number. You have cap space. There are ways. Take a look at the Philadelphia Eagles. How is it that this is a team, yes, they draft, they develop, they do all of those things, but they're still able to add Saquon Barkley, 3 years, $37 million. Bryce Huff set a record for undrafted free agents, 3 years, $51 million. Landon Dickerson, hey, you draft them, you develop them, you re-sign them, 4 years, $84 million. And you've already paying a quarterback $50 million a year.
There is money still to be spent. Yeah. You can make money appear seemingly out of thin air with restructures. They had more to work with than all the other contenders. So you see the Eagles very active yesterday, right? You see the Niners addressing some pass rushers, right? They want to make sure you can never have enough pass rushers. The Lions are going to need to keep up with the Joneses. And I know that Brad Holmes has his way of doing things. He's going to stick to his own way of doing things. But so far in free agency, the question was, would he deviate? Would he deviate now that he has more cap space than the other contenders? Would he deviate now that he's on the edge of a Super Bowl? The answer, through one day, and I'm going to get yelled at on the ticket text again, Jim, it's only one day. Yep. I can only speak on one day. Through one day, he has not deviated from his plan. We could debate whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think it's pretty clear he's doing it his way. They have yet to deviate. We learn more. I mean, today's day two.
Well, we haven't even gotten a full day in. That clock's not going to turn over until noon. And so business is again open today. What is Brad Holmes going to do? And maybe he does nothing. Maybe he sticks to his plan. But I do think that there's still plenty of time, whether it's through free agency, because there are a number of players out there, and it doesn't have to happen in the first 48. It doesn't happen in the first week. You've got guys out there that are probably going to sit around and wait and try and pick and choose. Okay, let's see what What does Detroit do in the draft? Do they still have a need at the corner position? Do they still have a need at the edge position? All right. Hey, Jadeveon Clowney, come on in for a year if they don't address it in the draft, or if they don't address the corner position in the draft. Cooper DeJean, he's a guy that we have talked about in my blueprint. Trade up, you get Cooper DeJean, or you trade back and you get Zach Frazier. There's a lot of different ways that they can put this Rubik's Cube together to solve the puzzle.